Hello and welcome to the Tuesday Checklist on a Wednesday, where today we're talking about Horizon Forbidden West coming out this Friday. Oh, so exciting. We've all been having a blast with Aloy's latest adventure here at Access, and so for this week's episode, thought we'd share 5 things we instantly fell in love with in Horizon Forbidden West. And don't worry, no story spoilers here, we promise. First into the hype chair, it's Ash.
So picking my favourite and most bestest thing from Horizon Forbidden West feels like a nearly impossible task because the whole game is just brilliant. Everything I've seen in it so far, all of my impressions from this gorgeous, gorgeous title are that it is fantastic and engaging and compelling and just all of my favourite words for a game. It is glorious. But the thing I'm going to zero in on especially to talk about first, because I know everyone else has got things I want to talk about, is the diving mask, which lets you go underwater and basically kind of breathe endlessly. So it's kind of like the underwater mechanics for Horizon Forbidden West. And just being able to kind of enter these strange caves where everything's submerged and kind of work through all this bioluminescent flora and just look at everything kind of from a new perspective that you haven't had in the Horizon series so far is so fun. Like, it's really just exhilarating to strap on your mask and go exploring and have a whole new lease on life in this world that you haven't had before. And I feel like the way that it's introduced, like no spoilers, no story spoilers, but like you get it as part of your main quest, obviously, as it's an important piece of tech. The quest line where you have to use it for the first time is just, it's beautiful. It is so good. I don't want to talk about it too much, obviously. I don't want to give too much away, but just know that I'm talking about it here. And when you get to it, you can be like, oh my God, Ash was right. It's great because it's gorgeous. I had a little go on it in the sea as well. We all took a trip to the sea. Everyone sat around and watched as I was swimming. And it was so good. It actually made me feel like a bit uncomfortable because like bodies of open water make me a bit like, ooh. And I got that feeling because it felt so realistic, like I was in the middle of the sea.
It was big, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just got deeper and deeper.
It's vast. And like the waves like crashing over when you get to the top, it feels like you're in like a broiling ocean. Like you feel it, like the haptic feedback in the DualSense wireless controller as well just makes you feel like you're fully being taken by the waves, and you go down and there's currents, and when you use your focus to kind of scan everything, it turns into like an echolocator, like it fully like scans everything and things come back as signals, like big like boo, boo,
like a dolphin.
Boo, boo. Yes, I am a little sea dolphin. Aloy is a little sea dolphin. And when combined with some armor, which I'm sure you'll see in the footage, that looks like a little, it either looks like a bird monster or like a fish monster, depending on what you're in. But wearing that, swimming around with like the teeth on and the little eyes, it looks so cute. I just love it. I just love going underwater. I like being able to pick all the different ingredients off the floor as well. Just like having more excuse to go and harvest a nice kelp from the bottom of the ocean is always very, very welcome. But obviously, it looks gorgeous. The kind of plants and the machines under there as well. There's machines in the water, which is quite scary, but very good. It's just, chef's kiss. Like adding this new layer to Horizon and Horizon Forbidden West especially is just, I love it so much. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna talk about, have talked about. Enjoy.
So the thing I love most about Horizon Forbidden West, and I'm sorry, but
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No.
Oh
No.
I spoke about the water already.
You can't.
it's just so beautiful. Honestly, it's the most 4K I've ever seen. It's the 4Kist 4K in the world.
New technical term.
It looks unbelievable. And it's not just the water, okay? I'm not just going to talk about the water, but as soon as you turn the game on, I was just like looking at the floor, at every single blade of grass. And if you go up to just any surface, any rocky or muddy surface, and just look at it, like the fidelity, I actually can't believe it. I actually cannot believe the amount of detail that's in every surface. I was getting up and literally walking right over to my TV. Because, you know, when you usually do that, usually when it's like, I was like, oh God, it's not losing any clarity of detail at all. Like my nose is in it and it still looks amazing. I just can't believe just all the time how good it looks. And I know, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn was one of the best looking games on PS4. So I don't know why it's a surprise to me that Forbidden West looks this good. But it's ridiculous. I was exploring some relic ruins the other day and there was just the walls were covered in moss and lichen, and I could almost feel the furriness of it.
Did you put your nose up to it again?
I did. I've been doing that so often, just pausing it, putting my controller down, just walking up to my TV and just.
Can you do that straight down the lens, please, so the audience gets
So,
it?
like,
Oh God, no.
Here we go.
And it's still, and it doesn't lose. I cannot get over how good it looks. It looks ridiculously good. Like just the thickness of the air, like the density of the air when you're in like the desert scrubland and bits of dust is kicking up, and then nighttime happens and like the moon comes out, the stars. My God, I can just sit there for ages, just looking up. And I have to talk about the water because it's ridiculous. I know you talked about the oceans, Ash, but any body of water in Horizon Forbidden West for me is just, I'm just going to splash around in it for a little bit. Little tiny streams, there's some lakes, there's some rivers, waterfalls. It all just looks incredible, and it's got like, obviously you can go underwater now in Horizon Forbidden West. That's a new thing. Even before you get the dive mask, you can go underwater. You just have to watch your oxygen levels and surface. And they've nailed the look of being underwater, I think, more than any other game I've seen before. And like the clarity of the water as well. It's not just a sparkly bit of blue that you traditionally would expect to see in video games. It's clear-bodied, gurgly, wet, flowy water.
These are all just words for
Yes.
Yeah.
But you'll see what I mean when you play it. You can almost feel the coldness of it when you step in. It's not just a texture that's been put in the world. You're actually standing in a physical body of stuff, and it's just an absolute pleasure to explore. I can't believe how good it looks.
I think on the piece of sorry, Rob, if you want to continue. I was saying on the piece of water, like the rain and seeing water on people's faces as
on
well.
people's faces, and also when it rains, if you're in a lake, you just start to see like the drops of rain spattering down on the lake.
The
as
rain
well.
on people's faces is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that's for me, that's the ultimate, like, wow.
So yeah, if you go in a cutscene after it's been raining or after Aloy's been for a swim, you just see little droplets on her face and on her brow and in her hair.
My entry for something I love about Horizon Forbidden West. We're gonna calm down now, everyone. You know, we've had lots about the open world and the beautiful water and the cool underwater the cool underwater gadgets and graphics. We spoke about both of those, but we're going to sit down and talk about Machine Strike. Which is...
Are we?
Yes, we are. And you're going to sit there and listen,
Right.
as if you're my opponent on Machine Strike.
Okay.
So what Machine Strike is, it's a board game that's introduced, and you kind of find it in one of the first areas. I can't talk about it in great, advanced depth, because I've only defeated 2 beginner opponents. I'm still searching for everyone else who wants to dare fight Aloy. But it's a board game that's very similar to chess in the sense of you pick your pieces for like a set, and they all look like machines in the game, and they've all got different distances they can travel, and they've all got different attack powers, and you want to kind of consider which pieces you're taking, and you've only got like a certain amount of points you can spend on the pieces. For example, like one piece can cost you 5 points, but you can only spend 10 points on a board, so then you have to pick like 5 different 1 point pieces. The game explains it a lot better. And essentially, you've got a board, you put your pieces down at the beginning, and your opponent does as well, and you want to get either all of their pieces off the board, or you want to get 7 victory points first. You get victory points by defeating your opponent's machines or their pieces. And you can do this by lots of different ways. There's lots of things to consider.
Machine Strike expert over here.
On my beginner level. So each piece, when you see it on the board, for example, they've got like a blue triangle at the beginning, and that's where their shield is the strongest. So if you're going to go in for a frontal attack, it does tell you like your piece could have 2 attack power, and then the other piece could have 4 health. So of course, if you're going to attack that, then their health goes down to 4. That's like in a basic scenario, but you've got shield breaks as well, and then if you do that, their piece bounce backwards, and then you can move forward with some pieces. If there's a piece there and a piece there, and you attack that one and they bounce back, it damages that piece as well. There's lots of things to consider, and there's an area of the piece. So you've got the blue shield, which is their strongest point, but there's also a red area, and that's the weakest point. So if you can also rotate your pieces. So if they've rotated to the side and then their back's open, and you've got a piece that will allow you to travel to a good area to attack the back, then boom, you're gonna get some big damage on that machine. And there's just so many things to sort of planning. It's basically, in this big, beautiful open world, I'm really enjoying sometimes just sitting down. If there's an opponent just there in a town, do you want to fight me in Machine Strike? I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I can stop saving the world just for a little board game. Let's go. And I just find it really, it's just nice just to play a good old board game. Oh, and there's also there's different levels and floors on the board, so you have to consider attacking from a higher point, or do you want to attack on a mountain terrain or grass terrain, because some machines have different strengths and from where they can attack. It's just very cool to sit down, calm down, and have a good strategic.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Too much
And play
excitement
some
in that
Machine
water,
Strike.
and just play some Machine Strike.
Rosie, what's your favourite Machine Strike piece? What do you use most tactically?
I don't really have a favourite piece yet, but I'm still only beginner level, Ash. Let's just slow down here. But I do
come
have.
back to me when you.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. I'll message.
We'll Machine Strike off.
We'll have Machine Strike chats.
Yeah.
But I have a little set team at the moment that's helping me get through the beginner opponents, and I'm winning, which is good.
I'm surprised that I'm going forth and no one has mentioned this yet, although I don't want to say favourite thing because I think that is zeroing in too much, but one of my favourite things about Horizon Forbidden West is the old world coming through, just permeating the world. It was one of my favourite things about Horizon Zero Dawn as well, the way that the population of that game are living with these relics from our world that we recognise, and just sort of having no real idea what they are, what they mean. I love all the kind of little names they come up with for relics and things, and try to understand what the meaning and the use for those things might have been. And I think that in Forbidden West, they've just gone to town on it. I mean, it's such a vast, beautiful open world anyway. And I assume that they've kind of listened to what I said about Horizon Zero Dawn and have gone well, we need to double down this time. Dave really liked that stuff, and they just have. And it's absolutely one of my favourite things about the open world. Yes, it looks incredible, but I think the actual design of it, it's not, it's these recognisable shapes. They pick these amazing silhouettes of things and scatter them throughout the world in such a way that it's just environmental storytelling, but I think it at its actual best, because the characters in the world don't really know what they're looking at. They don't know what they're climbing over. They don't know why those things are there, what their purpose was. And I'm seeing giant satellite dishes that were used to as telescopes, a satellite array. There's this amazing crashed, a massive aircraft, and it's covered in vines, and it's just so incredibly cool. There's one of my, I won't go into this too much, but the opening of the game, you come across a space shuttle and you have to climb near it. And I don't know why it's so much better seeing, it's the imagination, I think, of the developers taking these things that we know and recognize, these shapes, these vast structures, and imagining them being reclaimed by the natural world. I just can't get enough of it, and I think it's a fascinating way to tell the story as well. I love finding these little bits of little text documents and stuff that you'll find scattered around them that kind of talk about what was going on there. There's always these little stories, these little tidbits that you can pick up, and just the names for them that the tribes have, the tribes people and stuff. I just think it's just world building at its best, and I never get tired of spotting a shape in the distance that I recognise and being I can't go and see that, and figuring out what was going on here. A lot of this is kind of end of the world apocalypse stuff as well, crashed planes and tanks, and it just gives you this picture of when it all went wrong, what the population of the world were up to, where we had positioned all our armies and bad things, and were fighting, and I love that. I love that it's just completely there and you can just walk past it or not think about it at all if you want, and it's just a really beautiful part of the landscape. Or you can spend a bit more time and explore it and think about, like, what does it mean? Why have they put this here? What was going on here? I think it's just really, really cool. I don't know what this entry is apart from just the way that they've permeated the world of Horizon Forbidden West with our old world. I just find it fascinating and amazing, and I'm all for it.
Just to jump in at the end, there's
Please.
an amazing scene, like when you walk into kind of the deserty area for the first time, where it's all of the old war machines that are kind of there, like an old relic. So even the stuff that is old world but new to us, 'cause it's from that period of time that we haven't like got to in actual real life yet. Seeing that part of the old world is so cool, and just that scene, like with the big reaching tentacle arms and the machines everywhere that are deactivated, so cool.
Yeah. Even exactly like the history to them, like just those giant like titans that are relics themselves, but completely unrecognizable to me. It's so cool.
So I'm back again at the end because I got more to say about Horizon Forbidden West, which is just the rest of the tech, really, because I got carried away with the diving mask, and I want to talk to you about the other things you can do to traverse this beautiful, gorgeous, scenic land. And the main one is the shield wing, which you've seen in kind of trailers, where Aloy has this little holographic kind of thing that she holds onto and makes her sail down from high points when you engage it whilst you're jumping off things. And it is so satisfying and fun to do, to find the highest point on the map and just be like, ooh, I'm just going to go down nicely. After having all of like these grapples and rappelling down where you're like shoo, 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 and zooming down to the ground, like, you know, and it's really fast paced and beautiful and you see all of the land, but then you're from the top to the bottom instantly. Having the shield wing is kind of like the slow, the scenic route down where you can look at everything.
I never use the rappels anymore.
Yeah,
Get up the tall neck. No, I'm not rappelling down. I'm gonna shield wing down.
Yes, it's just a lovely little touch that is good for traversing places you couldn't normally reach. Like, you use it in the game to get to further platforms. Like, it does have a practical purpose, but just as a nice thing to do, just being able to glide around is like, oh yes, that's lovely. I think I'll have a little glide today. It kind of encourages. Yeah. Oh yeah. It
when you do it, it's just like the little rumble, the little gentle like. I'm like. Yes, I'm gliding. This is how it feels to glide.
Yeah, I get my bird armor on again. I'm like, oh, I'm a bird now, not a fish. Oh no, it's just really, really a satisfying feeling, and just what makes you want to take the game slow and enjoy it and take it all in, because there's so much to see in Horizon Forbidden West, and being able to do so at your own pace in your own environments that you choose, like, you know, underwater, on ground, on the sky. It's really good. And I also want to give a shout out to the pullcaster as well, which is kind of like the rope grapple device that you use to pull open walls and pull crates close to you, and also yank chests off very high places and be like, come here, which is just, yeah, that's how I like to play, is just destroying things from afar and look at it and go, yes, my work here is done. It's just like, it's another one that has like a really nice feedback reaction to it that you have to like spot in the environment. There's these like metal poles, and when they crisscross, then you can use your pullcaster on them. So looking around and finding these feels very satisfying, because it's like, oh, I spotted something, maybe I can climb it this way, maybe I can use it this way, and then being able to like pull it open and kind of figure out the ways that you need to do it. It's great in environmental puzzles, because there is a lot of environmental puzzles in Horizon Forbidden West that are so fun and kind of complicated in a interesting but gettable way. Like, it gives you everything you need to figure them out, but figuring them out still feels like, you know, oh, I've done that. My big brain over here has managed to do it. Like, I'm using the pullcaster as part of that, where you can open up walls and pull things down and kind of get things around corners is so fun. But yeah, the whole tech in general. Obviously, all of the new parts of tech also includes the new machines as well, which are glorious. I'm not going to go into too much detail on those, because I think half the fun is finding them yourself.
What's your favourite new one?
My favourite new one. Okay, my favourite new one. Don't listen if you want to take all new machines absolutely new, so I'm going to say it now. is the Slaughter Spine, which is a massive dinosaur and is kind of like the new big Thunderjaw moment, where it's like, I found it on a map tucked away in a corner when I was just running around to look at everything. I was like, oh, I want to go and look at the map, I want to go and look at the map. I'm not going to go and do a quest. I'm just going to forget saving the world. I'm just going to have a look around, and found this massive Slaughter Spine. And I was like, oh, look at its spines. It's so beautiful. Who is he? I want to meet him. And then just got wiped out instantly. But yeah, I think all of the tech in Horizon Forbidden West is fantastic. So obviously I have to give the little shout out to the machines, but of course, that's why you're playing Horizon, isn't it? Like, to see mad machines, look at a beautiful open world and traverse it with badass Aloy jumping around like a maniac. So yeah, Horizon Forbidden West. Thumbs up from me.
2 thumbs up. Were you going to say from Aloy then?
No, I was going to say from Ash and thought it was weird to talk in third person.
You made it so much worse.
The end.
Rob, can you just
Beautiful.
stay very still for a minute? Because we've shot this in 4K, so if people want to just go up really close to their screen now, they could just look at you in 4K and see what a fantastic job.
Look at that, dashing young
You've done.
fellow.
Get your nose right in there, everyone.
Everyone take
Right
a
in
picture
there.
of your nose right
You
up
can
onto the
almost
screen.
feel the bristles.
Oh.
A little bit of last night's dinner.
Oh, it's up there.
Yeah, maybe don't look too close. I haven't had my monthly beard trim yet. Let us know in the comments what you're most looking forward to in Horizon Forbidden West. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you're always up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
PlayStation